Artemis and Orion. Once, long ago, there lived a hunter named Orion. He was the son of Poseidon, lord of the sea, and gifted with his father's power. Orion could stride across the waves as though they were solid ground, and with his bow, he could strike down any beast that roamed the earth. Tall, radiant, and swift, he seemed more than mortal, a figure carved out for glory. Everywhere he went, tales followed. Some said he could clear a forest of every animal in a single hunt. Others whispered that no woman could look upon him without her heart catching in her throat. He was dangerous, dazzling, unstoppable. It was no surprise then that Artemis took notice. She was the goddess of the hunt, the maiden of the moon, sworn to chastity but never to solitude. When she met Orion, bow to bow, a kinship bloomed. They hunted together, racing through forests, loosing arrows into the sky. Their laughter echoed in the hills, their footsteps matched strides for stride. For once, Artemis, so often apart from others, found an equal. Whether it was a friendship or something deeper, no one can say with certainty. The poets disagreed, and perhaps even the gods themselves were unsure. Still, their closeness drew eyes. None watched more carefully than Apollo, Artemis's twin brother. He feared Orion might break his sister's vows of chastity, or worse, weaken her fierce independence. Take care, sister, Apollo warned one evening as they walked along the sea. You are not like mortal women. Do not let this hunter draw you down from your heights. Artemis's voice was cool. He does not bind me. He runs beside me. Is that not different? But Apollo was unconvinced, and when he could not turn Artemis away with words, he turned instead to trickery. One day, as Orion waded far out into the sea, only his head visible in the distance, Apollo approached Artemis with a challenge. Sister, he said lightly, you are the finest archer in all the world, yet, I wonder, could you strike that speck upon the waves? Or has your aim grown soft from too much laughter with your companion? Artemis bristled at the taunt. She drew her silver bow, nocked an arrow, and loosed it with perfect skill. The shaft flew straight and true, and the distant figure vanished beneath the water. Pride flashed in her eyes until the tide carried Orion's body to shore. Her cry shook the trees. Realization and grief pierced her like her own arrow. She had struck down her dearest companion, not knowing, not meaning, but deceived by her own brother. Weeping, Artemis lifted Orion in her arms. She begged Asclepius, healer of the gods, to restore him, but Zeus, weary of men rising too high, struck Asclepius down with thunderbolts for daring to defy death. Not even gods could save Orion. Unable to bear his loss, Artemis placed Orion among the stars. High in the winter sky he shines still, his belt and bow bright against the heavens. There he stands eternal, running forever across the night. But this is not the only telling. For myths never come to us in one shape. They arrive in many, each with its own shadow of truth. Some said Orion brought about his own ruin. He boasted he would hunt down every beast on earth, and the earth itself, Gaia, grew angry at such arrogance. She sent forth a great scorpion from the ground, and its sting was swift and fatal. Still, others whispered that it was Artemis herself who killed him, not by trickery, but in sudden wrath. Perhaps he boasted of conquests over women as he did over beasts. Perhaps he reached for her with desires she could not allow. Desire, even for a goddess, could twist into violence. Whatever the version, the end is the same. Orion falls, and Artemis, in love or grief or guilt, lifts him to the stars. And ever since, the scorpion follows him across the sky. When Orion rises, the scorpion sets, and when the scorpion rises, Orion flees. The chase is endless, marked in constellations for all to see. One can imagine Artemis's voice, soft in the stillness of night, speaking to him as she set him among the constellations. Forgive me, hunter. Run now where no arrow can touch you, where no pride or jealousy can reach. Let mortals look upon you and remember that even the brightest companions are mortal, and even the gods cannot always protect what they love. And so Orion shines, a reminder of closeness found and closeness lost, a figure both eternal and forever out of reach.